well, let's get this party started. So I want to introduce you, Bonnie, as one of the all-time star grant writing unicorns of our course. Share your journey. So if you could, for people that don't know anything about you, can you provide background on, I guess, why you wanted to learn grants? Like what drew you into this in the first place?
Sure. It's kind of funny because it's almost like grants found me. It started, like 2009. I had a little local dance performance company, and we got fiscal sponsorship from a national fiscal sponsor, and we did a good job doing an annual giving campaign. And they invited me as the director to do some grant writing training. Um, the irony was that as soon as the Great Recession ended, nobody had time to dance anymore. So I never actually got to use the grant writing training from that. But it carried forward. In 2017, I wanted to get more involved with my community. And since I have a master's degree in education, I joined the board of directors for a local brand new public charter school. And the board of directors was basically in charge of getting the school open. We were doing everything. And since I had any teeny amount of grant training, they handed me this pile, and it was literal, like it wasn't digital. It was like a literal pile of grants that had not been funded. They tried to do a capital campaign and it flopped. And so my job was to go through and find out why. So I did initial denial research on all of them. And it turned out that like none of the grants were eligible to get funded the way that they had been written. It was kind of horrifying, like being a volunteer board member and knowing that it was our tax money that had got spent on all these grants and no one had checked the eligibility. And it was then I kind of realized that, it's not just about the writing, it's about so much more than that. It's about the strategy and the eligibility and like really, setting everything up for success. So I went back to the 2 foundations out of 10 that would actually fund things in Central Oregon and said, well, what can we do better? And they said, make it about a scholarship. We don't want to talk about building things or keeping the doors open, but we love funding scholarships. So we rewrote one of them. We still didn't get funded, but they asked us to apply again in the next cycle. They're like, you guys are really close. We'd really like to help you out. We just need you to apply next cycle. So that was really fun. I don't know. I liked it. And it felt really good to me to take that from something that was so completely not a success and turn it around to something where there was a chance of success, especially when we're talking about like opening a school and just having more education options for kids. So much so that I had been a web developer for 20 years and I was thinking I did need a break. I sold my business and I decided to just get involved with grant writing. And I thought, oh, I know, I'll go on Amazon and get grant writing for dummies or whatever. I didn't really know where to start. And, Notre Dame sent me this like $10,000 program. I was like, I am not paying that much to learn to write grants. So while I was searching for grant writing for dummies, I found how to be a unicorn. I was like, I would so much rather be a unicorn than a dummy.
I always thought that title was so offensive, and I know everyone used, it's a common book name, right? Like whoever the company is behind it. But I was like, who wants to identify as a dummy? I mean, we all do, but like, no one wants that.
It's funny, I once worked for a tech company where you could not have those manuals. Like you were not allowed to have them. Like the owner was just really adamant that nobody at his company was a dummy and you could not like, even though they're kind of easy, quick reference, he was like, nope, don't have it out. So anyway, I found the grant writing unicorn book and then I found you and I just got really excited about grant writing, and then COVID-19 happened and it found me again. It just, there's such a huge need for fundraising, long distance. and grant writing really fits into that. So yeah, here we are.
It does. Yeah, thank you. I forgot some of those parts of your early story. So share how what you've actually now done with this grant writing knowledge. You have opened up a full-fledged grant writing consulting practice, right? Do you want to kind of share a thing or two about that?
Sure. Yeah, it's been a really wild journey opening a business during a pandemic. I was the alumni association for my college had like a spring, we usually have a spring strawberry social. We did it online this year. And they said, well, what's one of the things you never expected you would do during a pandemic? I was like, are you kidding? I never thought I'd open a business during a pandemic. Like that doesn't even make any sense. You know? But I did, you know, I opened the bank account through the drive-through window at the bank, which is not heard of for business accounts. Um, and I really feel like I've become a resource for my community, and I'm really proud of that. We're pretty remote here in Central Oregon. It's weird because we're growing at a crazy pace population-wise, but not necessarily service-wise. And there's also like a huge gap with affordable housing and the whole bit. Um, so I really feel like I've been able to open up some resources that haven't been available to our community. A client that I recently started working with was just beside herself, even having to hire a grant writer from Portland, which, you know, is the largest city in Oregon. But she's like, it's so hard to explain to people in Portland what Central Oregon lifestyle is like. It's just so different. I mean, we're in the high desert. And even though we're growing rapidly, we're still really remote. And like I said, just the resources are here and there. Like some resources were really getting dialed in, others it's just completely vacant. So I was really glad. And it turned out it was like, it's funny because the nonprofit services that my family use tend to be the ones that are finding me. So it was kind of cool. Like, she's like, how did you know of us? I'm like, well, you remember my daughter. And she was like, oh my God, I totally remember her. You know? She's like, how did I not know it was you? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I have a very fancy website, right?
That's really cool. I think relationship-based marketing is 100% the way to go with when you're getting your grant writing consulting business started, but even into the long haul. I mean, I remember we taught a mini course on how to open a grant writing consulting business. And I loved when you could reach out and said, thank you, that your tip for acquiring new clients was not, you need to have a social media presence.
Yes, yes.
True.
Yeah, I got really heavily involved in the yoga community, and so I'm actually kind of social media adverse right now. I never want to have to take another selfie again. So
Yeah, and that works because you can like kind of be introverted and still like win and do great projects. So what would your vision be for your business 5 years from now?
Oh, wow. That's a really great question, especially still being in the pandemic. So my daughter is also going to be a senior in high school. And so we're looking at colleges. And that was another thing that really attracted me to grant writing, was the flexibility of, you know, taking on projects when it makes sense, and also having it being something that has a critical mass for making enough money. I'm not out to like be Scrooge McDuck, but college is expensive. So, I mean, my vision would be that, you know, my daughter is settled, oh God, 5 years from now, graduating from college. Oh my God.
Uh,
Okay, sorry, as the mom, I got to get over that before I can move on. But that the grant writing consulting business has been successful enough to just, college is paid for. You know, she's got minimum student debt and can go off in the world. And I've got a grant writing business that fits my lifestyle and has fit, you know, helped fund the family projects with
yep,
college.
100%. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's a six-figure doable business with incredibly low startup costs. We talked about this. It's a
Yeah,
laptop, good internet, and your business is up and running. So
yeah, I haven't really even taken on a lot of work. In fact, I've kind of had to back off just because we don't know what's going to happen with this upcoming school year. And I've already broken even. I think I might be $49 shy of broken even, but still from March to July, I've already broken even on the startup business costs. So that's like really awesome.
Totally awesome. Yep, absolutely. Sweet. So, what would you say is one of your proudest accomplishments thus far in your grant writing journey?
I think it's probably changing people's minds about how grant writing can and should work. There's a lot of like chasing the bus, and I'm starting to say, let's just wait at the stop and catch the next bus. Because a lot of people run after the bus they missed. So it's actually been really satisfying that, I mean, it's hard with COVID-19. There's a lot of competition for grants, and I don't mean that in a like business competitive way. It's just there's so much need right now, and grants are one of the few ways to actually get money right now. So that's just, there's more people applying. So I think we're actually getting a higher than normal denial rate.
Yeah.
But so that just makes it all the more important to convince people of the value of doing a funding strategy. And sure, we can apply again next year at the July 15th, because we just had that happen. Like, oh, there's this great veterans organization, we need to apply. I'm like, next year. We will apply next year.
A hard habit to break for people.
Yeah, so just really and the strategy is on both ends too, because also the denials, I think you get as much information from a denial as you do from,
Yep.
I mean, the money's nice, obviously, but learning about like, why didn't we get it? What could we have done better? What would make us a better fit? Is huge, both for that individual application and then everything else that you're doing with it.
Yep. And you know what you need to tighten up, and you get it the next time. I've had several grants where we did not get it the first year and we got it the second for that exact reason. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that is something you should be proud of, because it does take finding your voice and your confidence to be able to push back when someone's like, go for this proposal, it's due in a week, we can do it. And it is about finding your confidence in your own knowledge and expertise as a grant writer to be able to push back on that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So what were some of your key takeaways from learning with learngrantwriting.org? Taking the grant writing from start to funded.
It was definitely avoiding the common newbie mistakes. Looking back at the dance and the school experience, we definitely made some of those mistakes. So it was good to know about there were even more to avoid. It's like we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can, just get right into it and do good work. And then definitely the community of other grant writers. Especially I live in a pretty isolated area. There are other grant writers, but sometimes it's just too busy and there's not really a critical mass to like have a community yet. So it's been nice to have like nationwide community of grant writers. And we're starting our little offshoot group. So that's been awesome, that it was just a bunch of like-minded people, and we're like, no, we're not letting this end. We're gonna have our own Zoom meeting without Meredith.
I can't wait. I am gonna crash your meeting soon. At some point, I'll just show up and join the party. I love that you guys are doing that. So you're meeting, and it's like-minded individuals that are starting grant writing consulting practices, right? Is that sort of the theme, or not so much?
That's kind of the theme, but it's not a requirement. If you're a staff grant writer, or if grant writing is just part of your job description, you're welcome to join too. Mainly, we just want everybody to be familiar with the Learn Grant Writing method. So ideally people who are enrolled in the course or who are alumni of it, just so that we're on the same page and we can share resources. Like today, everybody was like, where are all those files? And we were able to share them because everybody had already taken the course or was in it. And we just, were able to rattle off, go find it here. So yeah,
nice. I've been sending some of the newer students that seem to fit that group really well, and like letting them know, I'm like, you should join this call.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that. It's growing really, really quickly. We've already outgrown the Facebook limit for the room, so um, so we're having some technology hurdles, but we'll get
You
over
guys
it.
want me to provide a Zoom link? Because we could do that.
If you have one, yeah, that would be great. Because we've been maxing out the Zoom time limit.
Yeah,
Um, and Facebook has a people limit, so I actually set one up next week for my Google Meet room. Um,
yeah.
do Zoom has some advantages, like with the chat and being able to actually share files.
Better
That would
quality
be nice.
photo too. Yeah, well, if you are you meeting at the same time every week?
So far, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, we can just set it up as a recurring calendar event, and we can change it. One of you can let me know if you need to change it, but I can give you like your own. I'm pretty sure I can just give you guys your own Zoom link that's recurring for that meeting.
okay, great. Yeah, let's talk about that after the interview.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. I can always edit. I'm like, I can
Yeah,
send it out.
take all this out. Yeah.
Yeah, pick out the ums and likes so we sound smart. I mean, we both do that much, but some people do, and I do them a favor trying to clean up their speech.
Well, it's funny because I took one of your pieces of advice and to brainstorm, just recorded a conversation with the executive director. And I told her, I said, so I'm going to sound really stiff and like I'm not agreeing with you. And it's just because I don't want to have to edit out every single
Yeah, right.
It's a lot. I didn't realize I say so much.
That's actually why I was muting myself because I would do it too, and then the screen flashes back and forth to just me being So I was muting myself while you were talking for that same purpose. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so what would you tell someone that is on the fence about joining grant writing from start to funded? What would you tell
Uh, Well, it's definitely, going back to that point about not making the newbie mistakes, that, if you're considering a grant writing class, this is how to really jump in with both feet and have a community of grant writers in the same situation as you to help you out, which I thought was pretty unique. I mean, I did look at other grant writing programs. Most of them were so cost prohibitive. I just don't know how they can charge that much to nonprofits with a straight face. And then this was something like really useful that either individuals or actual nonprofits could get into the budget. And it's immediately actionable information. You can use it right away and just get going. I mean, I start to funded, I've like broken even on my grant writing business in 4 months. So,
them? And you've won a few grants for your clients.
yes, and that too, yeah.
But yeah, with them in the queue. So that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like all the time I'm told you're not charging enough by other business professionals. And I always say, I don't care. We want to be accessible, and accessible means affordable.
Yeah, no, and I noticed that there was like a decent amount of diversity like in our group calls, which I think was really vacant from other grant writing professional groups that I've been invited to. So
And
yeah.
we're going to be doubling down on that. So Alex is joining full time August 1st, and her master's work was on social impact. So
Mm-hmm.
we're really pumped to actually really double down and make sure that we're reaching people that really need to actually put grant writing in their back pocket.
Totally, and it's so much more effective when the grant writing is being done by the groups who need the funding.
Agreed. They're like the ones that most can't afford someone else to do it. So
Totally, yeah.
cool.
Awesome.
So if there's one thing that we could do to continue to serve you, like what would that be? I mean, it sounds to a degree it's keep having these group calls, but you guys are carrying on without us. But just curious, like, what would you need to feel like you're supported?
Yeah, and I would say it's definitely keep building the community of grant writers, and especially if we're building diversity into that group, that is so huge. Because I didn't go into this to help rich people. I really focus on kids and the arts. So, and that's pretty much starving artists and children who don't really have their own money. So, Yeah, the Zoom link would be awesome way to support us. and and yeah, I think you're doing a great job with it, and just please keep it up.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, Bonnie. Sweet. Okay, well, any other last words?
I know, I think we got it all. Just yeah, definitely take this course.
Have a good time. We love to hang out.
Meet some fun people to hang out with. Yeah. Yeah, because we are doing a weekly meeting, but it's not like we only talk about grants. I mean, first we talked about like the status of our vacation plans, which was kind of a funny conversation.
I bet. Moderately on hold.
Yeah, or then those of us who basically found a cave to go to, right?
Right, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's
So,
awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for the interview.
well, thank you, Meredith. I really enjoyed being able to do this and helping you out, helping everybody out. Thank you.
Awesome. I so appreciate it.